What's up, fam? Welcome back. Trigger warning. The video you're about to watch, it contains some vulgar language and may appear graphic to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. So this black lady that I came across on TikTok basically goes on a rant and explains that you shouldn't compare yourself to a 304, aka code word for hoe. Take a look.
And please stop comparing yourselves to bitches that's selling coochie, okay? Like, how is she living like that? How is she? Baby, that coochie is working 24 hours around the clock. I'm talking about blown the fuck out. And look, I don't job shame. So however y'all get y'all money is how y'all get y'all money. But please stop comparing yourselves to women that literally wake up and they're looking for their next victim. They like, how am I gonna get my rent paid? Okay, I'm gonna have to fuck 3 niggas this week, and then I'm gonna have to go on 6 days. Like, please, if you don't want that, stop looking at their lifestyle. Stop admiring something, glamorizing something that you might not be built for. Just saying, because it's a lot of shit that come with that. You gotta constantly go to the doctor, constantly be getting STD screenings. I'm talking they probably go once a week, if not once every 2 weeks. Always gotta have their hair done, nails done, coochie wax, laser, whatever. Always getting new clothes, new outfits, wearing that coochie out day and night. It's a lot that come with that shit. A lot of shit we probably don't even know that be going on. So yeah, just stick to y'all program. It's gonna come. Just know that.
Ooh-wee, she had a lot to say, didn't she? I couldn't help but laugh. I laughed so hard when I first watched this video. I was hesitant to share this video with you guys. I ain't gonna lie, but I thought it was very valuable because here's some key point takeaways I took away from that video. One, she was basically explaining in a more ratchet manner that you shouldn't compare your life to the life of a 304, aka hoe, because you never know what that person's situation is. You don't know if they have to sell coochie, like she said, for a living to pay rent and pay other bills and just survive, I noticed that a lot of women, especially black women, appear to be somewhat insecure of themselves when it comes to like financial independence. For example, a lot of women will sit up here and judge people by the materials that they have, like the type of car that they drive, or the type of clothing that they wear, the type of shoes that they wear. They're not, fancy heels, red bottoms, whatever you want to call them. Or if it's not a fancy car, they ain't got no money, they broke. Well, that's not necessarily true. Fun fact, a lot of people who really have a lot of money, especially in the corporate world, have what I call quiet money. A lot of people who have quiet money don't wear flashy things. They don't drive flashy cars. You'll never know that they have a whole bunch of money in their bank account because of the way that their lifestyle is portrayed. A lot of people are minimalist, just a fancy word to say that they enjoy the simple things in life. I can't even talk. And then some people just, appear flashy, but they ain't got it all. You have to be mindful and remember that not everything that glitters is in gold. You could see somebody with all the designer handbags and all the designer, shoes in the world, whether if it's a male or female, because males do it too. And they be broke as a joke, don't have a dime to their name. I see a lot of men, specifically black men, who wear fake chains. I don't know why. Fake watches, everything fake. Cubic zirconia fake, and portraying it like it's real diamonds. And don't have a pot to piss in nor a bed to lay down. A lot of these people are half-ass homeless, and you'll never know it until you start digging deeper into their lifestyles. Once you realize that people are scrambling to come up with rent money, tossing salad with strangers online, trying to get a quick fix on OnlyFans, it's cause for desperation out here. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to take it for what it is. Some people may appear that they got it all, but they really don't. I tell people this all the time, especially women. If you handle your business, if you are independent, you don't depend on nobody, you are on top of your bills, you are financially wise and able to, work a 9 to 5 or whatever, be happy. Be grateful that you can still work. A lot of people cannot work because of their disabilities, their health issues, and so forth, or just, other personal issues regarding like family members that they may have to take care of. Some people are caretakers. You never know what the person's situation is. And this is why I tell people, don't judge a book by its cover, because you might be making fun of Hattie with the dusty shoes that come to work every day, who's in her 60s, but Hattie is low-key collecting about 2 checks, and you don't even know it. She's probably collecting a retirement check from the state, because a lot of them go to the state and they retire after 20, 30 years. And then they become like secretaries or receptionists to collect another check on top of their SSI, their Social Security income. And they work part-time instead of full-time. And they be making bank, rolling in money, and you'll never know it. But people be talking the most smack about them all the time, like they're so poor and so desolate, to the point where they have to keep working past their 60s because they're not financially stable, and that's not true. Some people are just plain downright greedy. I've personally seen it. I've actually known people I've worked with in the past on several government jobs who were collecting 2 retirement checks on top of VA disability, on top of a regular job, working for Uncle Sam. And you would never know it. They would drive the most raggedy vehicles on planet Earth. I'm talking like Monte Carlo, stuff that they don't make no more, Pontiac Grand Am, all types of cars, El Caminos. You'll never know it, but those be the main ones who are loaded and full of money with the biggest houses on the block. Because I've actually seen one of them. I remember one time I went to somebody's Christmas party I used to work with at the VA years ago. Some old black lady. I forgot her name. She was so sweet. It was her husband, her kids, her grandkids. And I think she was some kind of medical assistant or something at the VA. That lady was retired military, retired from the state and collecting a check from the federal government. And she had a house the size of a mansion. You would never guess it by the way that she talked and the way that she moves with her wardrobe and her, her materials, like her vehicles and stuff. She would wear simple clothing. Like, she would wear like old lady clothing, like nice sundresses. You know what I'm talking about, that old bitty clothing where they wear those big old flower dresses in the summertime with the little sandals. That's like the typical government wardrobe, unfortunately. But them the ones, they be wearing the little beads around their neck, the little bead necklaces and stuff, the little pearl earrings. Those are the ones full of money. I'm going to tell you that right now. It be the other ones, the Sharkeishas, the Pookies, and the Ray Rays wearing the gold chains and the Jordans and all this flashy shit, driving a nice-ass car. They could be driving like a Charger, Mercedes, whatever, and don't have a pot to piss in, got payday loans all the way to the sky and into debt. That debt to income ratio is beyond 1,000%. And they're literally trying to survive on a 9 to 5. But ain't Hattie, who's collecting again 2 or 3 checks from the government and still working, full of money, you'll never know it. wear her little hats and sundresses and her little, sandals and stuff. But yeah, you would never know. Judging people by the way they dress or by the way, what kind of car they drive or whatever. And this is why I tell a lot of people also save your coins for a rainy day. You never know when you might need it the most. It's always good to just make sure you spend a reasonable amount of money. Try to budget yourself. I always tell people spend your money wisely and budget, because in the long run, as you get older, it gets harder. And then sometimes you may not be able to work as hard as you want to. You might be in your 20s or your early 30s working 60, 70 plus hours a week plus overtime. But as you get a little bit up in age, you may not be able to do that no more. Then your hours get cut, then your overtime gets cut, then your income gets cut. Now what? Then you got to come up with side hustles and stuff and figure out how to survive. And this is why I tell people don't keep up with the Joneses, because half of the Joneses are broke as a joke. And they perpetrating and flaking out here like they got it together, and they really don't. And another thing I also tell people is that when a lot of these quote unquote friend groups get together, especially like girl groups, and they want to do like girls trips, or they want to do like, all these outlandish activities are like way above your means, and you cannot afford it, don't go. Make up something. Hell, just tell them you'll go next time. They ain't got to be all up in your personal business. Act like you got something to do. You're doing schoolwork. You're helping out somebody. You got something to do, or you're busy, or you're going to be out of town. Just try to enjoy yourself, but do it in moderation. This is why I tell people, like, a lot of people that do that type of stuff, when they do like crazy brunch activities where the bill was like hundreds of dollars and you just got paid, and you just paid all your bills, and they still want to keep going out every other weekend. You have to limit yourself. You have to sit back and think for a second and be logical with your expenses and your cost of living and stuff, and really think, is it necessary? Do I have to do this to keep up with everybody? No, you don't. Because that's what I call peer pressure. People are just instantly trying to peer pressure you into doing things that you normally wouldn't do on your own. And then I think a lot of it is just instant jealousy. A lot of people see, especially single women. I've noticed like women who are married versus being single, a lot of them want to do these outlandish activities versus the single women. A lot of the single women like to be to themselves, like me, as you're very introverted. You don't like to be around a million people. You want to be, at the club or at the bar or at the hookah lounge 24/7, because Nene and Ray Ray want to go out and go to the cigar lounge every other weekend. But sometimes you might want to do something else. It's not your style, and that's okay. All you have to do is tell Nene and Ray Ray you can't make it and you got other plans. They ain't got to know every little bit of your life or your details. You know what I'm saying? Or just tell a motherfucker you don't feel good. At the end of the day, I tell people, don't ever let somebody come into your life, run your life, tell you what to do, when to come meet up and have all these crazy outlandish activities when you don't even do half the stuff that they say. And just make sure you put boundaries in place. A lot of people don't respect boundaries. I've came to that conclusion. It took me years to really do a deep dive on all the people in my circles I've came across in a span of my lifetime. And I had to put boundaries in place. I had to let people know, like, look, I would love to come. I can't make it. I got other plans, or I'm not feeling well. Because I'm not about to be out here every weekend gonna go get liquored up in somebody's little lounge, and it's the same BS every other weekend. They don't spice it up. It's not fun. It's not interesting anymore. It gets old. It's not entertaining anymore. I'm the type of person that likes to explore different activities, whether that's like, let's say bowling or top golf or something like, I don't know, Karaoke. I love karaoke. If they don't find similar interests that you like, leave them. Point blank, period. Not everybody is going to want to do the same thing that you want to do, but if they constantly only want to do brunches and dinners and go, smoke hookah all the time and they don't want to do nothing else outside of that realm, leave. Obviously, they don't respect what you want to do. If people cannot be grown and take turns in other people's interests, that's a red flag, in my opinion. I feel like at that point, the person is being selfish. They just want to do what they want to do 24/7 and they don't give a damn about the other person in the group. And then on top of that, I like to keep my circles small. I don't know about y'all, but I'm starting to notice that a lot of these people out here that are in these big ass quote unquote friend circles or friend groups, not everybody is your friend. Not everybody is going to get along. Everybody's going to talk shit about each other and hate on each other one way or another. And this is why I'm very skeptical of making new friends in new places, because I don't know who is with who. I don't know who is for me, who is against me. And then I have so many thoughts rambling because I'm just like, what is your angle? What is your end goal? What do you want to get out of me? Why do you want to get so close to me and you barely even know me? Like, it'd be different if I knew the person from the past. Like, if I've known that person for like years, I would say like 10 plus years, and I trust them, yeah, I'll go out with them all the time, whatever. But if you're like fresh off the block on the street, and I don't know you from Adam, and you want to hang out with me and exchange numbers and do all this crazy activities, and I barely know you, red flag. No. Unless I was cool with you from a past job that I may have worked with you, or maybe if I went to school with you or something, if I have something that we can relate to, then yeah, maybe I would hang out with you. But a lot of the locals, especially here in Richmond, oh God, I wouldn't spend a nickel to hang out with any of them. No shade to the Richmond community, but Virginia is a little jank. It's a little janky in most areas. You have to be real watchful who you allow in your circles. A lot of people I'm starting to notice are undercover criminals, undercover thieves. Yeah, Negroes will steal from you and won't bat an eye and act like they are your best friend. You just have to be mindful. And then a lot of them are just low-key hateful. When they find out where you live, they see that you live in the suburbs. Like me, for example, I live in a nice neighborhood. I pay some high-ass rent for this shit, but I live well. Then they get started hating on you because they live up in the hood. They chose that lifestyle. And I'm just like, but didn't nobody tell you to live in the hood? And if you work a 9 to 5 and you save your coins, then maybe you could do the same thing I do too. It's not hard. But when you have a lot of hood mentality people, that's what I call it, steer clear away from them folks. Those are the people I call low vibrational. You will come across a lot of those in your lifetime, and you have to look out for the signs and symbols, because by the time you realize what kind of time that they're dealing with and what kind of BS are they're, allowing into their homes and their lifestyles, that's when you're like, nope, just turn the other cheek and keep walking. I have had to cut off so many people in my life. It's not even funny. Especially when I moved out here. Especially back home. I've cut off a lot of people. And it wasn't intentional. Oh no. It was just at a point where either relationships were strained. I just didn't align with their values anymore. A lot of people are still stuck in party mode. They don't want to be grown ass people and take care of their responsibilities, still sleeping on on their mama's couch and shit. Stuff like that. Jailbird activities. I cannot deal with it. I'm at the point in my life where I'm just like, I am getting closer to 40. I am getting much wiser with all my decisions and all my circles. And if we do not click, if we do not align with similar values, morals, and just making sure that we're all law abiding citizens at some point, I can't deal with you. I'm sorry. I pay my taxes. I don't stay in trouble with the law. If I clearly see somebody in trouble with the law 24/7, they got warrants on their ass, they in and out of jail, you are not a law abiding citizen. I cannot deal with you. I'm sorry. Call me bougie, but I'd rather be safe than sorry than caught up in some BS that somebody got going on. That's me all day long. Because the criminal mind in me, because I'm a criminal justice major, I see all of the red flags the minute I read someone. When I first meet the person, I look them up and down. I hear what they got to say for a few minutes. If it sounds like bullshit, it walks like bullshit, I leave it alone. If it sounds like they got their head on right, they actually have a decent career, and it sounds like they're stable and they're not on drugs, then yeah, I'll hang out with you all day. It don't bother me at all. But yeah, there's a lot of people in this community I've noticed here in Richmond who are heavy into drugs, heavy into crime, and heavy on the homelessness. And it's a turnoff. I'm not gonna lie. This is why I travel to different places to meet different people in different areas. Because unless, like I said, I've known you in passing from a previous job or a previous school that I may have attended, and we met in passing and we were good friends and we clicked, yeah, I deal with you. I hang out with you all day because I know that you are clear. You work for Uncle Sam, you work for the government, you ain't got nothing on you. But as far as the other ones outside of government areas and all that good stuff, yeah, no. Mm-mm. I don't like taking risk with stragglers and strangers off the street. I just don't. Not saying that I'm too good to talk to some of the locals here. It's just the principle of I'm in that mindset where I just don't want to deal with it. I'd rather just deal with somebody that I've been knowing for some years, make mutual friends of that group, call it a day. Or if I do meet someone outside of my little circle, then yeah, they gotta be on the same page as me. I'm just not gonna allow people, especially in my personal space, especially in my home. I don't allow a lot of people in my home, even if I know them very well. The only way for sure that I will allow you to physically come inside this apartment is A, I know you're not a crackhead. B, I've known you for 10 plus years or more, and I trust you with my life. And C, as long as I know that you have your shit together and you have your own home, and you ain't trying to come up in here and lay up and live off of me, I don't care. I don't give a damn. You can visit me all day long because I know that you have a place to go back to. And that's the other problem. A lot of people don't have a place to go back to call home. So yeah, it's just one of them things where you just have to take it for granted and be grateful for what you have. It may not feel like you're living well because you're not in a nice space or you're not in a nice neighborhood or whatever, but if you have a 9 to 5 and you're working and you're minding your business, you're keeping your head above water, you're staying out of trouble, I think you're fine. I don't think you have to prove to anyone that you're better than everyone else. That's just my opinion. I feel like as long as you keep your nose clean, you stay out of trouble, you'll be fine. And I think you'll live a very prosperous life. But a lot of people don't think that way. They think they gotta have everything they see on social media, and they think they gotta have the newest designer clothes, designer bags, and all this other crap, when in reality, it's a scam. It's a scam to keep people mentally and physically broke. But anyway, y'all let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments. Do y'all agree with what the sister said about, focusing on yourself and not living a life of a 304? I agree, because I'm just like, a lot of these young bucks, especially Gen Z, I feel sorry for them. They're lost. A lot of these Gen Z kids, they think that it's cute. They think they gotta prove something to somebody that they the biggest hoe on planet Earth, and it's not even true. But yeah, I don't know, to each his own. But I'm out of here.